Welcome to Soccer As We Like It, the Man United direction, the channel for United fans and football fans globally around the world. Today we are joined by Louis, the singing director, Denver, Houston Red Army. Louis, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. It's always a pleasure to see you. Finally, we get to
Exactly when there's no defeat.
that's right. Finally, we get to have a chat after a positive result. It's a
Exactly.
miracle, my man.
Yeah. A lot of United fans were a bit slightly pessimistic about this game due to the fact that apparently, I don't know if you heard what happened during the week. Eric Ten Hag and Man United had to ban ESPN, Man United Evening News, Sky Sports, and Daily Mirror from coming to the press conference. Because these four guys, they come to the press conference. Hello, Mr. Ten Hag. So how's the game going? What are your plans? Then they go back and do type of something without the club's permission and spread and get clickbaits and just constantly put United dividing the fan base right down the middle. As you know, when we see, United are divided. 50% of the dressing room are against Ten Hag. It's just like, come on. And
Yeah,
it got to a point whereby you're printing things that the club did not permit. Enough
yeah.
is enough.
Well, not so much that the club didn't permit, right? I think the controversy is that they didn't verify with the club whether these accusations were true, right? I
Exactly.
mean, they're all independent news
Yes.
organizations. They can print whatever they want, right? But this is why ultimately Ten Hag made the decision to remove certain journalists from the dressing room, because that's schoolyard 101. Like, yo, if you heard something about me, at least ask me about it first. You know what I mean? Like, so there's obviously and the relationship between the club, the manager, and the press. It's a bit of a hollowed relationship.
Yes.
Not so much that one works for the other or vice versa, but I mean, there's an understanding that the club is a pillar of the community. The club is a pillar of the culture within Manchester, and it's important that they report accurately. It's important that they, whatever the truth is, it's important that you get the truth 100%,
Right.
good or bad.
Right.
But there has to be a mutual respect. And and this didn't happen. And I think it was the Manchester Evening News. They posted this statement basically saying, oh, like, we were there
Exactly.
in the
Like trying to
Medina
like that
disaster. We were
undertone, trying to
this, we were
apologize. Like, how
that.
could you treat us like that?
Yeah, and ultimately, it boils down to none of you that are working there currently had anything to do with those moments. So, like, it's not like you were part of the club in 1958, or you
Exactly,
were
right.
part of Manchester United,
Pulling the emotional card.
Yeah, no, they tried to pull the emotional card, and ultimately that was just as unprofessional and just as disrespectful as the news that broke. Now, getting into the news that broke, the positive takeaway for today was that based on the performance, the dressing room does not appear to be as divided as
Reported.
what was made to be, that what was reported, that was made to be understood. So that's the positive. The negative takeaway is clearly the leaks are still happening. They are from the same contingent of players that leaked under Ranić and Ole and Mourinho and
Van
possibly
Gaal.
Van Gaal. That's the point where we're at, and it's there is a widely held belief that this is a British contingent within the dressing room, mostly because they're the ones that have the most player power and the most pull with the local press.
Mm.
Um, so I mean, the list gets narrowed, right? The list gets very narrow when you're trying to play Guess Who, and you're trying to eliminate people, like, it ain't
It ain't Anthony.
it ain't Anthony, it ain't Martinez. Bruno possibly, but doubtful. McTominay, again, kind of doubtful because Manchester United, or sorry, Eric Ten Hag has trusted him over the course of the last, few games, and he's kind of performed in certain situations.
Yeah, Scooby
Doo. Could be Maguire, could be Shaw, could be Shaw. Although would be surprised, but it could be Rashford. Could be Rashford. Anyone that is mates with Sancho. So this is where we're at. We're at this very pivotal point. I can say English words. Within what will be the future direction of this football club. If you sack another manager based on player power and these kinds of things, and basically spoiled brats whining and throwing the toys out the pram, you will be relegated within the next couple of managers. I said this a while back, whether it's the next manager or whether it's, the manager right after that, the relegation is not far behind. And I say this only because they continue to allow the wrong influences dictate the direction of the club. Exactly. And, where we have not heard anything from Sir Jim, we haven't heard anything from the Glazers, and we won't. But I would expect those within the management, besides Ten Hag, because Ten Hag's already spoken on it a bit, not as in depth as we would like.
Right. It's quite confusing.
We have to make the right decision. We have to make the right decision. We can't sack another manager. We can't afford it.
I honestly don't think we can. And I don't think we should.
We can't afford it, number one. And
not after one season and 1.5 season.
And we know where this goes because we've done it 7 times now. We know where this goes. It's getting old.
It is getting old.
It was old. It was old like 4 managers ago, to be honest.
You're telling me,
but
I keep forgetting Moyes was in the mix as well. I forget Moyes.
Moyes,
Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole, Rangnick, Carrick.
Hell, Giggs was even in there for a couple of games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Moyes,
come on, man.
Moyes, Giggs, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole, Carrick, Rangnick, 7.
Yeah. We can't
do this.
We can't do this again. And ultimately, and I understand where it comes from a financial perspective. It's cheaper to get rid of managers than it is to get rid of a handful of mutinous players. But this is where we have to go. This is really, really where we have to go. It's time for players, some of them fan favorites. It's time for some of them to go.
Right.
It hasn't been good enough over the last 10 years.
No, it hasn't.
And it is, from players that complain about training sessions being too difficult.
Exactly. Too long, too difficult.
Or talking about the way that a manager speaks because he's a foreign manager or something like this. Look, man, if you did that in any company, HR would be all over your ass.
100%, mate.
They would call you down to the office and be like, okay, sensitivity training or you're gone. What's it gonna be?
Exactly.
We're consistently making decisions based on what the bottom line is rather than what's right. And it's affected us. We saw it against Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
Against Newcastle,
it was horrible. It was
today. Today there were bits of really, really good soccer from Manchester United.
Right.
Bits.
Did you see a team that had down tools in today's game?
Definitely not as much as certain games. Look, it wasn't all good. Mistakes were made. You know, 2-1 win should have been a 3-4.
3 or 4.
Should have been
United had some
3-4.
sitters.
When we come out of the first half with 8 shots on target and a missed PK. What? No, you can't tell me you're a world-class player, Rashford. You can't, or not, sorry, Anthony. You can't tell me you're a world-class player, Bruno. You know, there's no, it's too many shots, not enough goals. And then we know that we're weak at the back. We're weak at the back. So if you create that many chances and you don't put them away, you know, I had a mentor many years ago, a coach who had been coaching for some 30, 40 plus years. Basically, he just told the kids, he's like, if you don't score goals, you will watch the other team score goals. You know, this is, we know this to be true because, you know, last season we didn't score very many goals, but we didn't give up goals.
No, we didn't.
We did not give up goals.
Exactly.
You know, and this season it's completely flip-flop. Like, we have to lead from the front,
right?
Because the back is not good enough. Maguire, credit to him, he did okay.
He did okay. Nothing
he special. Did okay. Lindelof had to be subbed off. Was not good in my opinion. Shaw going into the left center back, I thought was a very, very good decision.
Yeah. Bringing Reguilon on.
Reguilon was not good. He was not good.
At least you get crosses from him. He does bring good crosses.
His crosses were terrible. His crosses were terrible. He got some crosses in, but I mean, he loses the ball, 7 out of 10 times. It's not good enough. No, Reguilon, when he came on, I was concerned. I was concerned when I saw him come on in the second half. Rashford comes on, no impact whatsoever. You have to fight for your spot again.
Exactly. Garnacho seems to have taken over the left. So you notice Garnacho's now a starter now.
Yeah, no, 100%. He deserves it. Højlund overall, decent movement off the ball, creates problems for center backs, opens up space. He's got to score. He's got to score. And it is incumbent on the team to set him up to score.
Yes.
However, he also has to create time and space for himself. And
at times, yes.
Sometimes that's not. Sure. He's very good at creating time and space for other people. It's very good. He opens it up for the midfield to be able to push forward and to play wide and do these kinds of things. Very good at this. He's got to start he has to find a way to create space for himself.
Right.
And if he's not going to create space for himself, he needs to drop in, receive the ball, and dictate play from there, or he has to drop in, receive the ball, turn, and freaking go. Have the confidence to take players on in that. So average for him. Average probably overall.
So what would you rate the whole team's performance today, mate?
I give it like a 6.5.
6.5.
I give it like a 6.5 because what we saw today that we haven't seen in a while, we were building out of the back, and we were building out of the back well in the first half. In the first half, second half a little bit more difficult. Chelsea had a bit more of the ball, but no, there were very good moments. There were very good moments for us.
Chelsea, Anthony. I think Anthony and Dalot work right on that. They work well on that, right?
Yeah. No, Dalot and Anthony worked very well together. But Chelsea pressing high, we were able to break the press several times without the long ball. This is what we want. This is very positive. And it is a clear indication that the team overall is not as disjointed as we were made to believe, right?
Exactly.
They were able to play together, work together, create several chances. Again, you can't come out of the first half without 2 or 3 goals.
That's right. We got to be more clinical.
We have to. And look, it might be even more difficult for us to score goals because if there is these leaks and these players that are against the manager, is it Rashford? Maybe. If he's not going to be playing, that is supposed to be one of our goal threats. Hasn't been as of late, but we've already lost Sancho. Casemiro is in and out. Varane is falling out with the manager, is gone. So, we can't push as high because without Varane and Martinez, we have to sit lower. So we're still gonna have a run of bad games. We're still gonna have a run of bad
got
games.
Liverpool next. You got Liverpool next weekend.
Yeah, that's Jesus.
I'm trying not to think that far.
Yeah, try not to think that far ahead. You can see here's the point. You can see what Ten Hag is doing, where the complaints over the last few weeks have been we can't see it, right? We can't see the style, we can't see the methodology, these kinds of things. I saw glimpses of it today, and that's the positive takeaway.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the positives, and you could see this team look like, you know what? We ain't Danny Tools. They played like a team that wanted to win. They wanted to prove a point to themselves as well. So I was happy with the unity among the players.
Yeah, definitely
hard.
some moments where we kind of check out a little bit, but we were able to take it through until the end.
There you go. Focus and concentration.
It wasn't this. It wasn't this. It was this, right? It was that. It was highs. It was lows. I'll ask you a question because I thought this today when I was watching the game. Our ability to build out, our ability to play as a team and kind of come together. It is Rashford. Is his kind of selfishness on the ball infectious within the team? And that's why we don't see it when he's on the field. When he's off the field, the ball movement is better.
The ball moves. You see, when the ball gets to him, he wants to take a player on. He wants to dribble. Then he loses the ball and doesn't track back. That's the problem. So it breaks down when it gets to him. And that's the end of that move.
Notice, though, when Rashford is playing, Anthony's been a little bit better as of late. But, I mean, we still know that he was always trying to cut in on his left, take those shots. Even players like Amrabat and McTominay are moving the ball a little bit better.
That's what I'm saying, because
McTominay still gets lost in the midfield. Is obviously his brightest spots of the game or when he's in the box. If he joined a mid or lower table team that plays a 4-4-2, watch out.
Yes.
Watch out. Put him up top and he'll score goals.
Yes.
But it cost us in certain moments, but the ball moved. It was free flowing.
Yes, what I'm saying. It was free flowing because they didn't get to one place, lose the ball, and not try back. And it's like, and not overuse that channel. They were using both sides effectively. Garnacho and Anthony, Luke Shaw and thinking down the left, and the Garnacho. So Rashford will have to work twice as hard to get back in. And I'm happy he did start. He's not starting. He's starting off the bench. Maybe when you sit on that bench a few more times, you're like, I'm going to prove a point. Then bloody prove a point. You've only scored 2 goals in 23 games. Next, bloody hell. So who was your man of the match, mate?
Oh, man. Kind of difficult. I think McTominay got it overall. I mean, you score goals, you get the praise. So well-deserved. I thought Anthony did okay overall. I thought he was good for long stretches.
Yeah, breaking up plays. Enzo Fernandez.
If I don't give it to McTominay, I think I would give it to Shaw. I think Shaw overall was pretty locked down in the back, both on the left and as a center back. Yes. So I would say one of those two.
Right. He did. I thought he played. Amrabat played well. I'll give it to Scotty. I'll give it to the Scottish lad. I think he Scooby-Doo. I think he did what was needed of him, and he could have got a hat trick. Actually, he could have got a hat trick because he did miss a header and a shot. So
Yeah,
United could
and
have
again,
scored more than 2 goals today. Could
I
have got
think this
like
is
4.
why I think this is why you can kind of assume that any dressing room leaks are probably not coming from him. Look,
Yeah.
I don't rate him as a very high level soccer player, but
No.
I mean, there's a reason he is getting picked. I think he does work hard. I think he does it in the wrong way. I think any time where we can play him a little bit higher, I think just benefits him. I think it
Right.
benefits us against certain opposition. But we got to get hold of the midfield. We
Right,
really
definitely. Right, our prediction for the game against Bournemouth on Saturday, Old Trafford. Where
Bournemouth
do you
played well
stand?
today. I don't know if you saw against Palace. They played well. They played very, very well. I would not make many changes to the squad from today.
Do you bring Rashford back in against Bournemouth?
No, I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to. I think you go with Anthony and Garnacho. I think you'll be okay. It's more at the back that I would be worried about. I don't want to see Reguilon play. I think he's a liability for us. I don't think he's defensively. I don't think he's good enough going forward. I don't think he's good enough. I just don't rate him. So if you put Shaw there, then it becomes who are your center backs?
Lindelof.
Guess you have to go with Lindelof. I don't know. Maybe you go to Varane and say, hey, dude, look, if you want to go in January, that's fine, but let's get you in the shop window. Let's at least get you playing some performances.
Exactly.
But I mean, look, if the relationship is completely gone and they just can't trust each other, then that's all she wrote.
That's right.
But difficult. If you go with Maguire and Lindelof, I think you can be successful against a Bournemouth. I'm gonna call it a 1-0 for United.
A 1-0?
I'm gonna call it 1-0.
I would go with 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
You're an ambitious man.
I'm going 3-1. I think some of the players would want to prove themselves again and get some consistency going. I think Garnacho would like to score. I think Bruno tried to make up for his penalty miss today by trying to score tomorrow on Saturday.
What's up with that, man? That is by far the worst PK I've ever seen him take. He's missed some before.
He missed one against Arsenal. The season Ronaldo was there. He missed one against Arsenal. I remember, yes, last season. It was last season, actually, yeah.
Yeah, no excuse for that PK. That was lazy. It wasn't even like that he hit it, that he mishit the ball. It wasn't like a mistake. It was just lazy.
Right, it was lazy.
And when you what was it? 5 minutes in, you gotta set the tone.
Exactly.
You have to put that shot on target, man. Or on target, but like you have to.
Yeah, you got to put it in the net
with conviction. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, weird from Bruno today.
So you are going with a victory against Bournemouth on Saturday. That will set the tone for Wednesday against Bayern Munich, then Liverpool to come. So we're going to stop at the Bournemouth prediction. You said 3 points, 1-0. I'm going 3-1 and 3 points. Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure for you joining us. At least we're joining today on a positive metaphor than when we normally well, my wife is saying making faces. So when we normally meet after the game when there's no.
You're having a hard time over here, my guy. We're gonna have to clear the studio.
So normally we always meet after a defeat. You know what I mean? We always meet after defeat, but today we met on a positive note, and it's good to talk when there's results, and it kind of lifts that. You feel like, okay, you know what I mean? So you get to look forward to the next game. You know what I mean? Because the Newcastle thing kind of like.
And look, how many people wrote off Manchester United today? I did. I didn't think we were gonna win.
I was thinking a 2-2 draw. I looked at 2-2.
You are way more optimistic than I am these days.
I said 2-2. I said, because when I did the fan review with Charlie, Kareem, and Joe, they all said, I said to Joe, it's at Old Trafford. He said, it doesn't matter. Old Trafford, no, they will get destroyed by Chelsea.
when we looked at like the next 5 games a while back, we were like, man, Bournemouth is the only one that we should win comfortably.
Right.
Everything else was, I mean, this is bonus points. You know,
Yeah.
everybody had written us off. No one thought that we were going to beat Chelsea. Even
Right.
I remember I was watching, even like towards the end of the game, 1-1, like 60th minute.
Right.
You know, we're peppering the goal. We're the better team. And someone commented that the betting line, the odds were still in favor of Chelsea because, you know, they fluctuate throughout the game.
Yes,
they were still in favor of Chelsea, and people were like, "What game are you watching?"
Exactly, because they thought you see, I think it has come to a point whereby when United lose, a lot of people are happy. Even there's a certain fraction of United fans, and it's quite sad, who want Erik ten Hag far before the end of the year. Who I don't know who they have in mind they're going to bring in. They don't know who they're going to bring in mind. They want Erik ten Hag out. Then you have the other crew who are non-United, who are not United fans, for the narrative, for the predictions, to sell clickbaits and to sell stories. You know, put it on negative. The ESPN crew, now that they haven't got a press conference to come to, I don't know where they're going to be spilling the toxic news to, because we've realized these guys, they do more damage than good. When United win, they give you, okay, they did a good job, but when they lose, it will be a debate, a House of Senate, House of Representative committee will be, the House of Commons in England will be set up to discuss the defeat, talk about the replacement.
Order.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Order.
Yeah,
you know?
I will say this. If the ban continues, I don't know if the press ban is going to continue. Maybe they'll be, slap on the wrist kind of thing, or maybe they'll stick with it. I guess it kind of depends on what comes out over the next few days.
Yeah.
But I will say this: if the ban continues, and these outlets are still posting dressing room leaks, or saying anonymous sources within the dressing room and these kinds of things, someone has to be fired.
100%.
And it has to be a player.
Oh yeah.
And it probably will be a player that a lot of people don't want to see go.
Oh yeah.
But I think, at that point, like, you've sent the message. Like, these outlets are posting things that are detrimental to the success of this football club.
100%.
And
100%.
they're getting it from you. So we banned them. That's the message. That's the warning. If it continues, someone has to go.
I'm with you all the way.
And it has to be full on, like Erik ten Hag in the press conference, and they say what happened. He has to say he was the leak. He was the leak. He was leaking to the press. Maybe there were some others, but this is, like, we know for sure he's gone. People or players are upset with Ten Hag supposedly because he's the disciplinarian.
Right.
He's got to be the disciplinarian. He has to. He can't let that one up.
Right.
If this continues, someone has to go.
Right. On that positive note, we will reconvene on our next one, which will be Bournemouth. Hopefully, we have some more positive news and 3 points to celebrate on Saturday when we play Bournemouth. Then we can now think about the Bayern Munich and the Liverpool game to come. Let's just get through these games and we'll take it further. Louis, thank you so much for joining us on such a short notice. Louis, it has been an absolute pleasure on this day where we are talking when United have got 3 points and a victory. Not like, what the fuck happened? It's not like, okay, they did all right. They did all right. They're still fighting. They're still fighting for the prize. They're still fighting for that badge.
Yeah.
All right, Louis, thanks for take care, sir, brother. You take care,
so
sir. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We shall see you on the next one. Take care, bro. Thank you.
All right, have a good night, man.
You too, mate.